The Square Ball Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the show, brought to you with Levi Solicitors. 10% discount on your legal fees, levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. Little mini edition of the regular weekly show, I guess, where we preview Everton. Silly midweek fixtures have thrown it all up in the air. Dan, Michael and Rob with you to look ahead to the game against, I think we've got to give them the full title, haven't we now? FLE. Frank Lampard's Everton.
Yeah, he's done a good job there so far. Well, he did a good job at Brentford, but then he was let down by his players against Newcastle. I think that's the way I'm seeing it.
So they listened to him when they won, but they didn't listen to him when they lost.
Correct.
Right.
Yes. Victories are for Frank. Defeats are for other people.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with him.
Probably the Pereira guy, isn't it, that they wanted? Him out, Lampard in.
It was Rafa, really. Rafa's ruined it for him in that game.
So is he carrying the can for the Newcastle game? Did you watch that one, Rob? The Newcastle Everton game, and what did you make of Everton?
I've not seen the game. I was interested to read in The Athletic that basically they were saying it was all Benitez's fault and not Lampard's, because he's having to make a team go from playing defensive dour football to now try to be front foot and attacking, which I'm sure they were absolutely thrilling in a 3-1 defeat to Newcastle. I did enjoy Moscow's written about, well, he's writing about, I guess, the players, the teams below us in the table, and he noted that Frank Lampard was asked how he had told his players to handle the Newcastle atmosphere after the defeat, and he said, I told them to handle it.
Which is a good thing, isn't it?
Good advice.
So good luck in your job interview. I hope you can answer all the questions. What are you going to do to answer the questions?
Just answer them.
Yeah. Oh, great. Absolutely bound to get that job.
Yep. Yeah. You can use it in any walk of life, can't you? So how your figures are really down. What are you going to do? Just make them better.
Yeah.
Okay. How?
How are you going to make
by making them better?
Improve them.
Yeah. I've not seen a Frank Lampard game yet, I have to say, for Everton, but I did see his post-game interview against Brentford when he was loving life, wasn't he? He was all bubbly. He was like, it's really good to see all the things that we've done on.
Was he name-checking the reporters by their first names?
All the good things we've done on the training pitch. You know, you could see it out there, and it's good to see that. Whereas then they got spanked by Newcastle, and he was like, wow, it's very difficult. Newcastle are a good side, and then you could see him sort of think, no,
they're not
very good, are they? Players are settling in or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I've got work to do, haven't we?
Where's Matt Law? Can he answer some questions?
Oh no, he's living inside my anus. Oh, there he is. I'll just plop him out of there and get him to work in front of his typewriter. Yeah, I mean, we did the same thing on the Phil Hayes show. It feels like we're setting this up for trashing Frank Lampard, questioning his abilities as a coach, all ahead of a game that we're yet to play that could go either way.
I mean, going into these two games, I was expecting us to win one and lose one and be completely erratic and wild, which I feel like we've all just got out of our system in the last game. So let's just go there and win, shall we? I don't know. Like Frank Lampard, the rubbish, aren't they?
And they do have injuries as well, because they already had some. And then Mina, it seems, is probably out, because Lampard is saying they're going to have to assess it over the next week or something. I think this is the way he was talking about it, but. Gray maybe will be back. I don't know.
Well, he's a muscle injury. His quad. He was speaking on their TV channels, their not fan channels, their in-house channels. Damari Gray was a hip.
Yerry Mina was the annoying pantomime villain at the start of the season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a dick. It's the short version. But you know, he's perfectly entitled to be. I think some players like that are quite good for football. To have someone on the pitch who's an outrageous bell end for the entire game.
That was the first game back, wasn't it?
He looked really dangerous, did Damari Gray as well in that first game. But then it was a Benitez side who were hitting us on the break. And we know from the start of the season we weren't in great form. But I thought we kind of went toe to toe with Everton. It ebbed and flowed, did that home game, didn't it? That was the first one back, wasn't it? So it was a bit emotional in the sense that we were all going back after the pandemic had kept us out for so long. So that was maybe a little bit of a distraction from the game itself.
Yeah, and we didn't know what to make of Everton then. We kind of thought they might be all right. Yeah. And they had a decent start to the season, didn't they? I think they won, all but like 2 of their wins or something came within the first month of the season, didn't they? It was very front-weighted.
They still never sang Rafa's name, though. And after one game of Lampard, they were belting it out.
They've lost those players, but they've obviously signed about £500,000 a week of midfielder in the window. So, did you notice Lampard was saying about he doesn't care about Dele Alli's car and this sort of stuff? Because I think there's people were saying like because
he owns one as well.
I think the only reason Lampard would say that is he must know he's got a better car than Dele Alli, because he would be bothered otherwise. Yeah. Or he's saying he's not bothered potentially because Dele Alli's got a better one, and so he's pretending it doesn't bother him.
Right.
He's got a newer version of it, and he's like, I'm not bothered about what car he's got actually, despite what.
Of course, a 21 model, it's not quite as good as a 20 model.
Despite what other people have said
and then
about it.
He rocks up to training with a new car himself, and then the following day
pays someone to key the side of Dele Alli's car.
It's a shame what's happened to Dele with his arrest and all that, but I like this little fictional world we've invented. But I was just going back to the game earlier on in the season. Yeah, the Benitez side was catching us on the break, whereas I think we're likely to see a slightly different side in that they seem to be trying to play out from the back, do Everton, and I get the feeling that if we get at them and get up in their faces, we could maybe profit a little bit from them trying to do that, because they were woeful at it against Newcastle. Well,
that was the line of the Athletic piece, was that Newcastle tried to press them and Everton's midfielders just didn't know how to cope. So Lampard just threw on Ali and Van der Beek, and I think Ali gave the ball away for the...
Get out there, lads. I want you to change the game. What do we have to do, boss? Change the game.
You can make things happen. Yeah. what sort of things? Goals.
How do you want us to do that? Get it forward.
Either pass to someone who scores, or do it yourself. One of the two. That's the best way of scoring a goal. So do that.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. You see a team that's low on confidence like this, and let's not forget, they're still close to us in the table. They've got some decent players in that squad. How can they hurt us, do you think? That's the thing. Because they have got some good players.
Ask Andros. Could be, scoring against his old team. Is there a little bit of beef there? I don't know.
No, not really. I think we've rewritten history.
We've moved on. He's covered his big forehead up with hair. It's fine.
Well, yeah. Well, we've been doing the Buttercup over on the Extra Ball for our TSB Plus members, which is a daft made-up cup sponsored by Butter. Hence, it's a little daft play on words, isn't it? We're pitting all. I was going to say all, they're not all of them. It's 64 low knees against each other, and Andros has got through on the basis of sort of smiting Neil Warnock, hasn't he? So we've rewritten the history around that one on that. So maybe we can forgive him a little bit now.
I'm sure the away end will give him a great reception tomorrow. Saturday.
Richarlison's dangerous sometimes. He's another one who's pretty much a relentless dickhead as well.
He's sulky though, isn't he?
Yeah, very much so. If we can upset him a bit early on, Dan James can do one of his. He can take his yellow card on Richarlison. I think that'd be a good way of doing it. If we take it in turns to just kick him, he'll completely lose the plot, I think.
I was going to say, he does sort of lose interest, doesn't he? If it's not going his way, you see him just moaning and thinking, I'm not going to bother now for the rest of the night.
Yeah. Raphinha will get in his ear as well.
He's kind of undoubtedly a good player when he can be asked. But yeah, he seems incredibly sulky. And a little bit of the Grealish Zaha's about him, in that he thinks that any contact on him it immediately deserves a red card for the opposition, and he's never allowed to lose the ball. He's one of these players, he will never lose the ball and stay on his feet. He'll just always go down on the off chance that, maybe he was fouled.
It feels like they're there to be got at, Everton.
I feel like Frank Lampard's there to be got at. Do you think he'll be... Well, he probably will be asked about Spygate in the build-up to this, because we've not had the press conferences yet for this.
Well, these games. He'll do the chuckle and then go serious. As he'll do
the chuckle, say he's not talking about it,
and then talk about
it, because that's what he did for a very long time, wasn't it? Just
it didn't bother me. I didn't let it get to me, but I don't condone it. Come on.
Well, I mean, if we have to go into it, then yeah, it was wrong and it shouldn't have happened, and but I don't talk about it.
Yeah. So,
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how he handles it, because he will definitely be getting a lot of stick, Will Lampard, in this one, which is it's a really weird rivalry, because I know we did face him as a player a few times, didn't we? But it's not like there was a great number of sort of midfield battles there where it was him against Gary McAllister or someone for years on end, kind of having these tussles. It was more that he played for Chelsea, did loads of good stuff for him, and then.
Yeah, huge. I mean, he had a hugely successful career, but let's not forget the genesis of this was that we went in for him and wouldn't pay the extra $1 million.
I think Seth Johnson.
Wasn't it? We did it with Seth Johnson instead. So, I mean, it could have been different. It could have been a Leeds United legend.
It could be Seth Johnson managing Everton.
He might be a Leeds legend, but he'd still be an entitled little prick.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel like his face would have fit. I mean, we say this with the aid of 20 years worth of hindsight now, but anyway, by the by. to the game. I mean, and like you said, we've gone in on Lampard with both feet here, but should we try and talk about the football at least? So, I mean, at the risk of us repeating ourselves, I'll defer to you, Robin, and see what you think about this one. Where's it going to go? Because we've obviously spoken about this on the Phil Hay show as well. I
mean, if the Athletic are right in that Everton was struggling with Newcastle's pressing, that gives me a lot of confidence about what Leeds can do to Everton. I think low on confidence, just been beaten by Newcastle, who were terrible, got an idiot in charge. Let's just go and beat them. Yeah, I think, and against Villa as well, we did lots of good stuff. Just do more of that and less of that 13 minutes of madness.
And Everton don't have Coutinho.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We're expecting an unchanged side probably here, aren't we? From Bielsa, I mean.
I'd imagine so.
Probably, maybe Forshaw at a push, but
in for who?
Click or cock, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it's tough one.
I mean, it depends. I suppose it depends on anyone's. There were a lot of tired people, weren't there, at the end of that game. So if anyone is kind of knackered, but I kind of imagine we'll probably play the same team.
He will walk into his press conference on Friday and just say, they're all injured actually. Probably like 3 more people will have got season-ending injuries.
It'd be interesting to see what they do in terms of shape, Everton, because again, Phil was saying that they did like that 3-4-2-1 against Newcastle that didn't really seem to work. Do we fare okay against wing backs? I always feel like we do against 3 at the back, because there's not like almost like a specialist man out wide picking up the winger. Like, you've not got your full back and then your man in front of him. You tend to have like one player doing a lot of heavy lifting, and then you get Raphinha in those nice little spaces and Jackie in those spaces.
I feel like we're always all right unless people go 2 up front. That's when it always seems to knacker us, because we start having to change our shape then. Whereas I think if Everton play that same formation, we don't have to tinker with anything, so we can play our own game.
Yeah,
I think the pressure's on them as well, being at home, and all this talk about playing new progressive football and getting away from Benitez. They are going to have to try and attack us, which should leave space for us to attack as well. It was kind of like last night, that tends to play in our hands if we can keep it tight at the back again.
I just imagine like an opening 20 minutes where maybe they're sat deep and absorbing a lot of pressure from us, and it could quickly turn toxic because they hated the defensive aspect of what Benitez was trying to do, like sitting deep.
And that switch to being more free flowing and stuff, it is quite risky because you get very set up to play in a certain way. It's like when I remember Mick McCarthy going mad at Ipswich fans because they were kind of always moaning about the way he played, and sure enough, he did eventually just tell him to fuck off, more or less.
Walked out literally.
He just sort of went, I'm not asked, just fucking manage it yourselves, whatever. But then they brought in someone else, I can't remember the guy's name now, but they brought in someone else who was meant to be playing more attacking football, bringing youngsters into the team.
Cook, who went in there?
Could have been now, I can't remember.
The guy from Wigan.
But they essentially just got relegated straight away, and it was like, oh, okay. So that's an option as well, is it? That you don't necessarily get to just play nice attacking football. Sometimes the other team will stop you doing that. So hopefully they're all full of confidence and trying to swagger it out from the back, and we can just keep nicking it off them.
The danger here, as it always is with Leeds, is when we see a fixture that we quite fancy, and then it never quite works out as we expect. But this really is there to be taken.
It is. They're in awful form.
Yeah, and very, very low on confidence as well. You can see like the confidence like drained out.
Do you know
of them
they can get
Newcastle.
More confidence?
What, feel better?
By being more confident.
Yeah,
that's what they need to do. Just be more confident, and then it'll be all right.
But again, this is us with the old tempting fate. Going back to that phrase, tempting fate. Are we tempting fate? I mean, we need to reinforce the fact that we said it on the match ball, we said it on the Phil Hay show. We have no influence on the outcome, so it's fine to trash Frank Lampard because he's a bit of a dick.
And even if he wins, he'll still be a dick.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
So we'll be right.
Exactly.
That's exactly what we're saying. You said on the Phil Hay show you fancy a draw. I fancy us to take this one. What about you, Rob?
I'll go for a win, a tight win. We won there last year, didn't we?
Raphinha, 1-0.
Similar again, 1-0.
Question is, what kit are we going to wear?
The pink.
Have we got a pink kit?
Lilac, whatever it is. It's we've not had much mileage out of it, have we? I don't feel yet, so they'll probably try and use that one.
Although the socks might be too similar, so we may see some sort of, I think we'll either be white, blue, blue, or there'll be a mashup because Everton are blue, white, white.
It was the
lilac maybe.
Raphinha in the burgundy last year, wasn't it?
Like a fine wine, etc.
Just wear that again. Everything felt better then, didn't it?
It did, yeah. The lilac kit, it's gonna have to get in the bin unless we win handsomely on Saturday wearing it, in which case I'm prepared to tolerate it for a few months more. Okay then, win. I say win, you say draw.
Yeah, just because that's the way this season's going. Every time it feels like we've kind of turned a corner, there's another. another one in there.
You're talking yourself into a defeat here.
No, just because we've never lost like loads in a row. It doesn't feel like, and we've never put together a good run either. It's always just been
bitty.
It's just been stop start, and you kind of think, oh, things are going to be all right now. Like we beat West Ham, and you think, okay, Newcastle to can win that. Then we'll be more or less safe. But it's just never quite been there. So yeah, draw.
I think this is where we start to build that run. And we get a few points on the board so we can relax when it comes to April and the difficult
It was about this time last year our form did pick up, wasn't it? I can't remember when we had that good run.
And I also think, again, something Phil touched on when we did the Phil Hay show was the levels of fitness and output that we still get from Leeds, and post-Christmas is when people start to get tired. Some of the bigger clubs have got half an eye on Champions League runs and things like that, and I think because we are always just laser focused on the league,
because we're out of the cups.
a wise strategic decision
every single time. So okay, we'll see how this one pans out, and thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you in a bit.
The Square Ball Podcast.